And people enjoying their 3-day weekend here, or President's Day, a big weekend.
A lot of folks at home watching us right now.
Absolutely.
You know?
President's
Holiday.
Day.
Thank you all for watching.
How cool is it when the President of the United States shows up at a baseball game to throw out the first pitch?
Pretty cool. It's a big event, too. You know why? Because the stadium's on lockdown. I don't know if you've ever been to a stadium when the president is at the game. They lock the place down. You have to be in your seats probably 2 hours before the first pitch, because they make sure that, you know, the security. I got a funny story. I was at Little League World Series, and President Bush, George W., came to Little League to throw out the first pitch, and I got locked outside because I was coming from another stadium, and I got locked out, and they wouldn't let me. I'm like, I'm doing the game. I got to go in.
Right,
you know?
Right.
And finally, one of the Secret Service guys had to come get me and escort me in because they locked the stadium down. I don't care who you are. You're not getting in. That's kind of the way it is.
Well, and you bring up George W., but his father here, George H. Bush, he appointed you. You got the Point of Light Award?
1,000 points of light. Yeah, I was the 195th point of light. First athlete or entertainer to receive that accommodation. So we went out to Baltimore to play a game.
Look at that shot.
That's me and
look at that shot.
President Bush in the Oval Office with the photographer. That's it. I was hanging out in the Oval Office by myself waiting for him to come in. And I'm standing there, and it's like, wow, I'm in the Oval Office. Pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was a good time.
Absolutely.
Cool. I've met almost every sitting president. They're all pretty cool people, down to earth, more so than you would think. And it's pretty cool.
I got to hang with you more often. You've met every sitting president, actually. I mean,
yeah. Bush, both Bushes, Clinton, Obama. Yeah.
That's got to be a pretty cool experience.
Pretty cool.
So you have a favorite president going back in history, or just any personal relationships?
Well, I think I probably have a more standing personal relationship with W, because he was the owner of Texas Rangers. I knew him then. And then also he had the White House lawn. He played T-ball on the lawn, so I got to know him real well. He's a huge baseball nut. He just is. He loves the game and very personable. And so, I know him probably better than all the others. President Obama, I've just kind of met in passing, not really sat down. But I've had dinner and sat and chatted with all the guys.
Wow.
So that's different. Clinton was cool as you'd think he would be.
Right. And
so it's been fun.
That's pretty awesome.
Ken, what about you? I know you had to come across the presidents.
Harold, I don't have the personal relationships with presidents that you do. The only thing that even came close was when I left my scorebook by President Bush's box in Texas during the World Series a couple of years ago, and he actually held on to it, gave it to the security guard, and got it back to me. But I wanted to talk about that moment we just showed. President Bush in 2001 during the Yankees-Diamondbacks World Series in the immediate aftermath of 9/11. Now, it's hard for people to remember now, some people, younger people I would think, but that was a terrifying moment for a lot of people, seeing the president walk onto the open field at Yankee Stadium. This was a time when people were still really scared of what might happen, and he went out there. It was very courageous of him, and obviously threw a strike. And I remember Jeter joked with him before, hey, how's it feel with that bulletproof vest? You gonna be all right? And it all worked out well. Nothing happened, of course, and a lot of people drew a big sigh of relief. But that was a very, very courageous moment that I'm not sure a lot of people today look at the same way. If you remember back to that time,
sure,
that was a really tough thing to do for him, and he did it in a really great fashion.
In this run of being involved in baseball as a player, a broadcaster, whatever, I think that was almost the height for Major League Baseball, when the game meant so much. The teams were talented, but the time that we were going through in our country with 9/11 and everything else, that was, to me, probably the height of my baseball experience, where baseball was the king in this country. Ken, you agree with that?
Yes, there were some really stirring moments during that whole period. And, of course, that World Series was the topper. But if you remember Sammy Sosa running onto the field at Wrigley with the American flag, Piazza's dramatic home run, the Mets' first game back at Shea Stadium, it meant something different, Harold, than it does now. That I think would be maybe the more accurate way to put it. It means a ton now. The game has never been more successful in terms of revenue, but at that moment, people needed baseball. They needed the distraction, and that's why it came back as quickly as it did. And again, there were any number of indelible images from that period, and Bush's first pitch was certainly one of them.
I was working here locally at WNBC, and baseball played a huge role in helping the healing process from what happened at 9/11. It was great to see.
Yeah, no, it was
great reflections on presidents and their past relationships with baseball.